Kristen with Simply a Stewart, and I'm sharing with you guys today what I used for my kindergartner last year, what worked, what didn't work, what I might change. So I will preface this by saying I realized I threw out two of her school books because we finished them, like we just tossed them in the recycling or whatever. So I apologize. I'm going to start out by sharing that we did the 1-year daily devotional by the Word of Life. This is what my kids all used for a devotional this year. Worked for some, didn't work for some. I really like the program. So I shared in my last video, my son used the 1st and 2nd grade book, and I loved it. I really did. I did not love her book as well by any means. She loved it though. She loved it. So, and I didn't feel like it was necessarily a bad thing. Let me see if I can find something. Okay, so they would have something like this, and it would go, I can know, and it would tell you. And so this says, God is greater than Satan. There's a verse up here that you could read out of their book if they have like a hands-on Bible or something that has the actual verses opposed to just stories. And then down here it says, circle the picture that is the greatest. And then we can pray. So I liked the concept. But I don't know. She could do it in 10 seconds, and it just wasn't anything about God. Yes, God is greater than Satan, and she is only in kindergarten, but I felt like we could have been doing something that was a little bit more in depth with her. I don't know. I don't know what it is about this. I didn't enjoy it. She did enjoy it. She would do 4 or 5 pages of this with no problem. All in one day, and then another day she wouldn't feel like doing it at all, but she did like it when she did it. So it was not my go-to of choice, but if you need something that you just want to say, hey, Jesus matters every day, but it doesn't take very long, I would definitely recommend this. If you want something that's a little bit more in depth, you might want to consider skipping it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't my favorite, but I did love their older kid version. And so, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Like I said, she liked it. It was kind of like doing a Sunday school paper for her. And so she enjoys doing those. Now, in kindergarten, I will preface this by saying we do not get into a lot of other subjects. We work on reading, writing, and arithmetic primarily until they can read proficient for a kindergartner, and then I start to add other things in. I really want to make sure they're focusing on those core subjects before we start adding anything else. So we focused on reading this year. We started with all about reading, but within the first 2 lessons I could tell she was really struggling with it. She knows her letter sounds and stuff, but I don't know. She just wasn't quite ready for this program. I don't know if it was just the fact that school in general was new to her, if she needed a refresher after coming off summer and not doing a whole lot the year between preschool and kindergarten. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but we tried this out instead. Learn to Read activity book, 101 fun lessons to teach your child to read. So we quickly jumped on this and started working with it pretty much every day. And we didn't finish the very last maybe like 10 lessons or so, because by then I felt like we were definitely capable of moving into this. So we worked almost the whole way through this book, which has, like I said, 101 lessons. And then we started into All About Reading. So I did like this book. I felt like it moved fairly quickly, but it started with the very basics of the letters. So you weren't just jumping into words and things. And so it was just kind of a nice little refresher. I did not love the fact that some of the words were like more like sight words, and I didn't feel like it repeated them week after week when it added them. And there was nothing in there to do that. Now, I could have made flashcards and I could have worked through those words with her every day, but there was nothing in the program set up for that. And so they weren't reutilized through the next lessons. It was once they did them, they were pretty much done. And that sight words are not a mastery, or not something that can be mastered in like a day or two, and then not mastery skill where you just leave them and don't go back. They kind of need that spiral method of keeping going over them until they have them solidified. So I did like this program. It wouldn't be something that I would use as my main program to teach my child to read, but I think it was a good start and a good refresher to get her moving into what we did use after that, which was all about reading. So, sorry, I have so many books laying around here. All about reading. I've never used this program before this year, and I got it for both my son and my daughter, and I am really impressed with it. I do think it's not what my older kids use, but I do think it's an excellent program. It really breaks down all the steps and all the things you need. I love the fact that it is pretty open and go. Once you've taken all of your parts, you have to do kind of the early prep of taking all the pieces apart, all those little magnet towels and different things like that. But once that's all done and everything's set up for the year, it's pretty much open and go. My kids she really enjoyed doing all the cutting and the pasting and those types of things that went with it. At this point, the books aren't too hard for her to read. So she is really enjoying it. She's definitely working through her digraphs and stuff. And so we are not finished with this book. Spoiler alert, we will be continuing with All About Reading for her into her first grade year. And but we really did like this. I do think it is a great foundation. It's a very solid program for teaching reading. So, and my daughter is very that average student. She's fine with doing like a typical hands-on work or typical workbook where my son needs more hands-on. So that worked great for us. As I've mentioned before, we always start our kids on Horizons Math. It is my favorite. I love the fact that it is bright, it is bold, it is colorful, it is spiral, it is Christian based, and I really enjoy it. So, and she really enjoyed it. I can't even find a page she didn't do because she liked doing math. She could not wait to finish. Oh, look, she didn't do the last page. I told her she didn't have to do the last page for school. So here you go. Right next to the last page, the last lesson. So that's kind of what that page looks like. Although on the back, the lesson that she did do this one. So they're not super long lessons when they're younger. Like I said, they're bright and they're bold and they're colorful, and it just makes math a little more enjoyable at that age. So we did enjoy that. And then we also did, so I said my 3 R's, the reading, the writing, and the arithmetic. And so we, handwriting, we did the good and the beautiful. She really enjoyed it. I must have thrown away her notebook when she was done. She finished it not super quick, but if she finished it and it was in a finished pile before the rest of the kids' stuff was kind of gone through it, it just accidentally got tossed. So I don't have it to share with you guys. It is smaller, so it is roughly the same size as this book, which if you can see, like, it is thinner. It is much thinner than this because this is very thick. But as far as size goes, it's much smaller than like the older kids. So my older kids have the good and the beautiful handwriting, and they are more like this size, where the kindergarten one is not, and which is kind of nice for their tiny little hands. So that was something that she truly enjoyed and asked to do quite a bit and wants to do again next year. So we did that. And then science. That was the other thing that I tossed. Sorry, y'all. I just bought the DK kindergarten science workbook off of, I don't know, like Rainbow Resources or Amazon, something like that last year. And she loved it. She absolutely adored it. She moved through it so quickly. And then when it was done, I'm like, okay, science is done. Like we do nature walks, and we would read books that had like science, Usborne books that had like the bees and bugs and different things in it. But we weren't doing a ton of like in-depth of any other kind of science. And I'm like, science is just, our book work is done for the year. We're just going to keep working through science in other ways. And she was not okay with that. She was like, not okay. She whined all the time. And so then, and I don't even know where I grabbed it. That is when we grabbed the Life Science for Beginners by Master Books. So if you watched my son's video, I had mentioned that she wanted to do science again. And so we purchased that for both of them. And we began working through it. And she loved it. Loved it. Again, very young child. I'll grab it for y'all because I feel terrible. I didn't grab it, not showing you. Very young kid workbook type pages. Just read through and then fill out the workbook page right inside. And she really liked that. So I don't know if she's going to love science or it's something about the workbooks that she likes that are very, because it's that very kid-like workbook that you're filling in. But she can't wait to do it. And so this, we will continue to do this through next year. So the last thing we did was logic. We had both of these books just kind of laying around. We had done some of them, but not finished them. And so we worked through both of these books. She really enjoyed these. She wanted to do logic more. My kids all seem to be that way. If they could do logic as their only curriculum, they would probably just do it. But we finished both of these books. I wish the company made these the whole way, like up through 6th grade or 7th grade or whatever. But they don't. They only seem to make them for the younger grades. So if anybody out there, because I mean nothing, but if you're out there, happen to be somebody important and you're listening, make these for the higher grades, please, because we'll do them. Again, just that simple kid workbook, fill in the blank kind of things. And they just, she loves to be able to write right in her books. So they're just really easy. Just a simple logic. So we did those for the year. So that's everything she did. We didn't work on a ton of stuff. Like I said, in kindergarten, I really tried to just hit those basics. She watched some Wildcrats and Magic School Bus and those types of things. We definitely looked at maps and read Usborne books, but those were the workbooks that she worked on through this year. So I just wanted to share those with you guys. And I promise I'm trying to get this all up for you guys. I will be coming out with what we are going to be doing for the new school year. If you guys like these kinds of videos, please give it a thumbs up down there, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.